What is up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about, can you actually lose body fat in time for bikini season? But before we dig in, just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've been enjoying the show, listening to the show regularly, if you could rate the show or share the show on your favorite podcast platform, that would just really help me get in front of more people, which would help me help more people, which is the goal of this show. Really, there's a lot of crap out there. Every day I'm on social media for my job, right? Because that's coaching, and I see a bunch of crap out there by influencers, like very famous, big people who will have like hundreds of thousands of millions of followers, and even like smaller following accounts. But the smaller following accounts aren't the problem, because people aren't seeing that. It's the big accounts that say a bunch of stuff that is just not applicable and or is so extreme that it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, at the time of the recording, this is the day after Memorial Day for all you Americans. If you're not American, it's almost June anyway, so basically, it's summertime. And so I thought it would be good to give you a real talk, realistic time frame. There is no way that you can get shredded for summer unless you're already at the end of your fat loss phase. So the title of this episode is kind of probably a fake out, because that's not really what we're talking about. But what a lot of people will do is like, well, I can't look bikini ready. One, any body is a bikini body, and you don't need to wear a bikini. Any body is a swimsuit body. Men, please don't wear bikinis. And Speedos are only in style for athletes, like water polo players and swimmers. So please don't wear that at a public beach. So everybody is a swimsuit body. You do not have to look a particular way to wear a swimsuit and enjoy yourself outside. So just want to caveat with that. But to make yourself feel more comfortable and not get worse, and this is what happens. People realize, well, I can't get that dream summer body I wanted. I'm like, that dream summer body that you wanted would probably take years to get anyway. So instead of just giving up, calling quits, and eating like an asshole all summer and regretting your life decisions, why don't you just do the next best thing and try to build a more sustainable fitness routine, a more sustainable eating structure, more sustainable training routine, more sustainable mindset around things. Because just because you can't look the way that you want to look doesn't mean you should give up. That's the exact opposite of what it means. In fact, I'd say that's the best reason for you to start to plan and create more structure. So what I'd recommend is I would recommend looking at the next 3 months. What do June, July, and August look like for you? And this is what I've been doing with my clients. I sent out a mass text yesterday. I now text my clients daily. TBD if they like it. Some people have said it's helpful. Not everybody reads it every day, but at least they know that I'm watching them. That's a joke. I'm not always micromanaging my clients, but I'm always there. I'm always there on your shoulder. I'm just kidding. So anyway, but today's text, I'm like, it's officially summer. So look at the next 3 months. What do you have coming up? Because this is something that I'm terrible at doing myself. I'm really bad about doing this. And when I went to my conference, I had to work because I forgot that conference was that following week. Had I let my clients know a couple weeks ahead of time, I probably would not have had to work at all, and I could have just been present and enjoyed the conference. But I'm so terrible at doing that. So I am letting my clients know and hopefully helping them not be like me. And I'm also actively doing that too, and trying to plan out my months and quarters, 3 months, 3 quarters at a time, so that I'm not shocked But what this also does is it allows you to create a more realistic goal for the summer. And for most people, that will just be maintaining where you're at, maintaining what's going on, trying to improve slowly, like slight little habit improvements over time, becoming more like building out a more sustainable structure for your exercise and eating behaviors and habits. And maybe it is dialing in your nutrition. Maybe your nutrition is pretty dialed and you're like, you know what? I have the time to go into a fat loss phase, or I have the time and the capacity and the schedule to go into a build or a bulk phase. Or maybe you're like, you know what? This summer I'm doing a bunch of hikes and I want to make sure I'm adequately fueled and I have like proper nutrition. So basically, you can accomplish a lot in 3 months. So just because you're not going to have the dream body that you wanted, which would probably take a couple years anyway, doesn't mean you should not do anything. So step 1, look at the next 3 months, June, July, August. What do you have? Do you have travel? How many travel trips do you have? How long are those trips? Where are you going for those trips? Will you have access to a gym? Would you like to train? Are they real vacations? Are they conferences? Are they weddings? Are they, I don't know, what other summer things? Are they family vacations? Are they long? If they're long, you might want to find a gym. If it's a 3-day getaway, probably don't train, enjoy it. Unless you enjoy training. Then what is nutrition going to look like? Have you booked the hotel? Maybe you're going to book an Airbnb, because booking an Airbnb is going to give you access to a kitchen, so you can control more of the food that is going into your mouth, which is the key for all body composition changes. I saw a reel the other day. If any of you have followed or listened to Higher Up Wellness, he said the only muscle you need to train to lose fat is your elbow. Stop picking it up because your hand holds the spoon, and when your elbow bent, stop bending your elbow. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, can you cook? Can you plan? Can you pack things? I just met with a client today, and he's a young athlete, and he's going to a camp, like they're actually camping, and he doesn't have any control over the activities. It's only 4 days. I'm not super concerned, Wednesday to Saturday. But he's like, I just want to make sure I'm eating enough. I'm like, cool. Since you don't have control, pack some stuff. Pack some jerky, pack some protein bars, pack some dried fruit, and pack some... I really like RX bars. They're not the most tasty, but they're pretty well balanced. Like, they've got a good amount of protein, fiber, carbs, and fats. So usually I'll recommend those. Again, not the tastiest, but whole foods for the most part and pretty well balanced. So pack some of those. Just to make sure that he has enough food to feel good and maintain the results that he's built. But we're not super worried about macros or tracking during this camping trip, right? Because that's unrealistic. He's camping, he's not controlling the food, and he's out in the wilderness. So Lord knows if they have service. They're going to Wyoming. Wyoming is... I just went there this weekend. Let's just say it's not my most exciting... It's not the most exciting state I've ever visited. No offense, Wyoming people. I've only been to Evanston, so I haven't seen anything else. But yeah, so anyway, and point being, we planned, we prepared. And so that way, he has a game plan. He knows what to do, what to execute on, and he's ready to get back into the swing of things when he gets home. So, point of this episode is, just because you don't have that body that you wanted by summer doesn't mean you should give up. What it does mean is that you should just be realistic. Look at your schedule for the next 3 months, what can you accomplish? Is your training going to have to look different? It might not. You might be able to keep it the same. Are you going to have to be more rigid on your nutrition? Or are you going to have more flexibility? And all of these depend on the client. I was joking with some of my coach friends were kind of making fun of me because they said I should have a shirt with my face on it that says, "It depends." But really, it depends. It depends on the client. It depends on their goals. It depends on what's going on in their life. So what you should do this summer depends on you and your goals. You might be able to go into a fat loss phase. I would say probably 90% of you wouldn't be able to, just realistically, not because you can't do it, but is it worth the sacrifices that you're going to have to make? If you're in a fat loss phase in the summer, you might not be able to enjoy a vacation to its fullest extent. I am a big foodie. I am a food snob. I love food. I love to eat, but I only love really good food. So if I was going to Europe during the summer, I would not want to be in a fat loss phase. I'd want to eat all the pastries. I'd want to eat all the yummy deliciousness that they have there. And I wouldn't want to have to micromanage my calories. Same if I went to Japan. Japanese food is phenomenal. So just something to think about, like, where are you going? Maybe for you, and that's why it depends on the client. Like, I have some clients that like to be in a fat loss phase during the holidays because it helps them maintain more control over their eating behaviors because they know their goal. They know where they want to go. And they know during the holidays, there's a lot of parties and they overindulge a lot. So them being in a fat loss phase helps manage that. But there's some people where they enjoy having a little bit more flexibility during the holidays, during travel, during summer. So it depends on you and your goals, but it's something to think about, something to consider. So look at the next 3 months, figure out what are some hurdles, what is realistic, and what could you actually do within the next 3 months to move the needle. Maybe it's just dialing in training, getting hyper consistent with training and hyper consistent with your protein intake. Maybe it is learning how to fuel yourself for performance. Maybe it's enjoying it and being less rigid. That's kind of what I've been doing. I need that. I'm too type A. I've never really done that. So I don't really have any goals right now, just trying to be healthy. Well, I have to demold my house. That's fun, but, and demold myself and demold my husband. My husband is moldy. But besides that, goal is just train, have fun with it, get strong, and enjoy my summer. So it doesn't have to be a big thing. But again, maybe for you, it is fun to have a specific goal that you're working towards. And that's something that you should know about yourself too. Or think about, does that motivate you? Does that give you some fun, like a little bit of external motivation? But anyway, hopefully this was helpful. This is something I do with my clients. So if you're like, I have no idea what my goal should be like the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year, this is what I do with my clients. This is what I help them work through. And I have a coaching program. I don't talk about that often, but it's like one-on-one coaching, but less check-ins and no functional nutrition. So it's kind of like bare bones coaching, training, nutrition, unlimited messaging support, weekly education Zoom calls, group calls, like they're with other people, other clients. If that's something that you're like, well, I do need a little bit of extra structure and guidance, but I don't necessarily need as many one-on-one touch points with a coach, or I really don't need any help with my blood work or with my gut health. then that's something I can help with. So just shoot me a message, and I'd be more than happy to chat through Instagram. Hopefully, I've been updating my website using Claude. I used to be a software engineer. I used to be a web developer. And that thing did basically over a week, like probably 5 work days of work in like an hour of conversation back and forth. And I'm like, this is insane. I have never used Claude before until yesterday, and I'm kind of hitting my head up against the wall. Anyway, my updated website will have my business phone number on it, but I don't know if it'll be up by the time that this website is up or this podcast episode is up. Hopefully it will be. I just need to schedule in the time to set that up. But I've been working on it all day. It's been very fun. Anyway, there's a phone number there. You can book a 15-minute discovery call, or you could just message me on Instagram and we can go back and forth, like no pressure. Just so that you have some accountability, you have some structure, you have, I text all my clients daily. So you would have a daily touch point with a coach. That's just me saying, hey, don't forget about the goals that you set for yourself. So anyway, if that's something you're interested in, it's $7 a day. It's about the same cost as a caramel macchiato from Starbucks. So if that's something you're interested in, just shoot me a message. We could chat about it. But anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this got you to think, what does my summer look like? What can I realistically do this summer? And what goals do I have that might not be realistic, so that you don't set up your expectations and then quit. But anyway, thank you for listening. If this episode was helpful, shoot me a message, share it, subscribe. You don't have to shoot me a message. You can. That would be cool. It's been a long day, people. Share the show. That helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people, which is the goal of the show. So anyway, thank you for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.